this video, let us get into a bit more details about the privacy impact assessment, the first type of privacy assessment that I spoke about in my previous video. We'll discuss the objectives and scope of a privacy impact assessment. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy, and as I said, objectives and scope of privacy impact assessment in this video. What is privacy impact assessment? It's a way to analyze your personal data processing capabilities, processes, so that you can understand if there is any risk while handling personal data of any of the data principles in form of your employees, in form of your customers or your vendors or your consultants that your organization has. After analyzing the data, you are expected to create a plan of remedies and mitigations, and that system should be capable as a robust system to help you do that. Even if you use external tools, automated tools, the idea of conducting the assessment is to be able to understand where are the gaps and how can they be rectified, or what mitigation steps can be taken so that in case of a breach, the risk is minimized, or the risk of breach itself is minimized. You are also able to measure what is the level of compliance that you have with your respective regulators. The needs may be different in different geographies, and if you are a larger organization who is spread over multiple countries, then you have to see what are the right practices that you are using in each of the processes, subject to what kind of data you are handling, right? Most of them are dependent for the citizens of that country. So GDPR talks more of citizens of Europe, and Indian DPDP talks of the citizens of India. So accordingly, you have to plan the assessment of your processes and based on the location and the kind of data that you are processing. It could also be that sitting in India, you are processing data of European citizens, then you need to be GDPR compliant, though you are an Indian company or though you have an office in India. You do a transfer impact assessment, get their data into your country, and then analyze it by the privacy assessment rules of GDPR, because you are answerable to GDPR in that case. That will help also adopt the standards that are expected out of you and improvise your internal and external processes for processing the information. Maybe at some time you might feel that after doing an assessment that maybe you need to change your processes, maybe you need to change your policies that you have communicated to your external world. What are the objectives of doing a privacy impact assessment? Key objective, as we have been talking again and again, identify the risks, mitigate the risks. Just see how you can minimize the chance of a breach and how you can minimize the impact of a breach. Get into stakeholders' trust. Your stakeholders could be your executive team, could be your senior management, because they are the people who are answerable to the external people, and of course your data principals in terms of privacy are also a sort of a stakeholder in your business. You are processing their data, right? And this also helps you spread the awareness regarding privacy internally. Your people are able to better understand what you are doing and how it would help or not help them. With that, decision making would also get improved. You'll have better control over what decisions you are taking when it comes to privacy related issues. What are the basics of a privacy impact assessment? Can it be conducted internally? Yes, it can be conducted internally. Maybe the respective department head, but they need to have knowledge of the privacy regulations and privacy processes. Maybe they can subscribe to my YouTube channel and understand details of privacy, even if they are not legal or technical people. And as again, privacy is not a technology subject, it's more of law and regulations, more of business function. You can get your data protection officers to do privacy assessment for you, or you can hire external auditors as well. There is no mandate by a regulator that you have to have an external auditor or an internal auditor for privacy impact assessment. The organization should be clear that they have assessed the impact of breach. You can do employee interviews, you can take system logs to see how are they being used, and the person who is doing the privacy assessment has to understand the processes. Now when I say employee interviews, you can say, what would that mean? Well, suppose I am defining privacy policy for finance, right? I have to understand their processes, and I'll give you a small example. How does the salary get transferred in an organization? Most of the time it is online, NEFT, IMPS, RTGS, but what is the process adopted? Is it that a document is created and sent to the bank? Is it that an Excel sheet is created and sent to the bank? Or is it that someone punches it sitting inside the office in an online system and someone else authorizes it? Now, in the first two examples, when you are creating a document, who is carrying that document? Right? Someone is going and physically handling it to the bank. Are you sure you have a contract with the bank that they are not going to misuse the banking information of your employees? Are you sure that the person who is sending this document is reliable enough and you have a proper NDA signed with him that he is not going to misuse? He has an access to what you have written on a piece of paper. Right? When your accountant is sending that Excel sheet on email, he has to be very, very careful that the email IDs are correct. Including certification exams, there is a query where they say that the Excel sheet has gone to a wrong ID, and then it contains, in this case, sensitive personal information of your employees and has gone to a wrong ID. Right? So you need to be very, very careful about it. Now these are the kind of things that the auditor, whether it's a business head or a privacy auditor or a tech person, has to understand. It's a very small thing. Anyone would say it's just my salary, but your bank account number and IFSC code getting shared can be harmful, right? So you need to understand how your finances transferring a small thing as your salary. How is it getting linked with the HR? To whom is the HR sharing the information about your banking, right? And does the finance know only about banking, or are they too friendly with HR and they know beyond that? That is what you need to find out. What should it cover? So the same thing as I took in the example. What is data mapping? What are the data types that you have? Where are they located? Is it in form of an Excel sheet that the finance has the IFSC codes, account numbers? Is it on a piece of paper? Does he carry a set of cancer checks with him? Or is it in the CRM system or the ERP system? You need to understand where is the data, how is it flowing. As I mentioned in the previous example, how does it reach the bank, right? If everything is happening online, then it's pretty secretive and encrypted. What if it is lost or misused? What if the person delivering the letter to the bank misuses any of the IFSC code he has? What is the mitigation plan? What are the actions that you would take to address the risk and the mitigation plan? So if in case he misuses it, how would you address it back to all your employees and to the regulators, and how would you like to minimize the risk in that case, right? That is what you need to answer to yourself. And this is a very small example. There could be hundreds of such examples in even a smallest organization, because any organization beyond 2 people does transfer salaries. So that's about the basics of privacy impact assessment and who can conduct it, and examples of why it should be conducted, what should it all cover. I hope you like the content of my video. Please press the bell and the like icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.